Welcome back to the channel. Today, we will follow coastal fishermen on a dramatic fishing journey in the middle of the ocean. From the moment they cast their nets, surrounding a giant school of fish, to the moment of a bountiful harvest, all will be recorded realistically and vividly in this video. On deck, everything was ready. After a short rest, the fishing boats headed out to sea again. Under the warm sunshine and salty sea breeze, each red net was rolled tightly, ready to be released into the vast ocean. The atmosphere on board became urgent. Each person had a job coordinating rhythmically like a machine, the only goal to find a large school of fish, cast the net accurately, and bring in a full catch. The boat slowly lowered the net into the sea. Each bright red rope slid off the reel, stretching out along each wave. Every operation was precise, without a single mistake, because just a little carelessness could mean missing an entire catch of fish. Now, everyone was in position. The experienced fishermen sat silently, their eyes turned to the vast sea where, beneath the deep waters, a school of silver fish might be lurking. The atmosphere was strangely quiet, as if everyone was listening to the call of the ocean, waiting for the golden moment when the nets were pulled in. And now comes the most important moment of the trip. The two boats begin to move slowly, dragging the heavy net that is gradually closing in the middle of the sea. Each rumble of the engine, each turn of the reel seems to be keeping the rhythm of the silent performance between man and the sea. The net begins to stretch, the first sign that there is a strong movement below. Is the school of fish in the right position? And just as expected, a whole school of sparkling silver fish was pouring into the boat's hold, creating a resounding splashing sound like the symphony of the ocean. Fish continued to pour into the hold, a sight to behold and full of life. Streams of silvery white fish splashed up like waterfalls, covering the deck in an instant. The rustling sound echoed throughout the hold. It was not only the sound of fish, but also the joyful sound of those who had spent their lives at sea. Today's catch was truly a great victory. The hold was gradually filled, the silver light sparkling as if signaling a full and memorable day of work. Workers immediately took their positions, sorted the fish into troughs, and brought them to the processing area. Without a moment's hesitation, all operations were carried out quickly and accurately. Each fish was transferred to the drying oven, preparing for the final preservation stage. This was the result of all the hard work at sea, the moments that every seafarer looked forward to. In the distance, a small fishing boat is gently gliding through the waves, beginning its journey into the deep sea, a place that holds many opportunities and challenges. Not as bustling with machinery as the big ships, but hidden within it is the determination and experience passed down through generations of coastal people. Each trip out to sea is a time to face nature with luck, but also an opportunity to find precious catches of fish in the vast ocean. After hours of struggling in the strong winds and waves, the heavy nets were finally pulled up from the water. Hundreds, thousands of fish were wriggling, making the net compartment wide. Each worker, sweat drenching his back, still did not stop working. Strong hands, firmly clinging to each net as if clinging to faith, clinging to the prosperous life that was gradually becoming clear before his eyes. The whole school of fish was thrashing vigorously in the net, creating a chaotic scene full of life. The water was foaming white, their silver fins glistening in the sunlight as if dancing in the middle of the sea. Workers quickly used nets and equipment to scoop the fish into the hold rhythmically, urgently, but with great experience. Each batch of nets contained dozens, hundreds of fish. The sound of fish hitting the net, the sound of people calling each other, the sound of the engine roaring, all blended into the bustling music of a big catch day. An unforgettable moment for anyone who has ever been involved in the fishing profession in the middle of the ocean. As the sky gradually darkened, the lights on the ship reflected on the calm Black Sea. But the work did not stop. The workers were still working hard in the net compartment using their own hands and rudimentary tools to scoop each batch of fish onto the boat. From afternoon to night, they did not leave their positions. Because the amount of fish today was too much a great joy, but also a real challenge. Without modern machinery to support, everything depended on human strength, experience, and team spirit. It is moments like this that we can see the hardship, diligence, and perseverance of those working at sea. In the middle of the pitch-black night, fish continued to be brought onto the boat. Lights lit up a corner of the sea, illuminating sweaty faces that radiated joy that was hard to hide. After a long, stormy day, the nets were finally emptied and the boat was filled with the silver of a bumper catch. That happiness did not come from luck, but from perseverance, from hard work, and from a spirit of attachment to the vast ocean and sky. After a long night drifting at sea, as the sun gradually rose, the workers were still working diligently. No one complained, no one rested, because before their eyes was the precious result of all their efforts. The entire boat's hold was filled with layers of fish, shimmering under the morning sunlight. Each net filled with fish is a testament to the hard work and love of the people who have dedicated their lives to the sea. Another day ends with warm hearts, with the belief that the ocean is always open to those who dare to commit and sacrifice. After casting the net, while waiting for the fish to enter the net, the workers took the opportunity to sit down, chat, and play a few small games of cards, a simple form of entertainment in the middle of the vast ocean. But this relaxing time did not last long. In just a few hours, they would enter the hardest phase, when they had to pull the nets and collect the fish entirely by human power. On the boat, there were not many modern machines to support. Everything depended on the calloused hands, on the solidarity and endurance of the people who had been attached to the profession since childhood. Without any machinery to assist, all the weight rests on the shoulders and hands of the workers. The higher the net goes, the more rapid the breathing becomes. But everyone's eyes shine with hope. Under the water, strong movements become more and more visible. The fish have entered the net. The net begins to swell like a giant silver bag. The atmosphere becomes tense and bustling, because everyone knows this is the decisive moment of the trip. The net was pulled up little by little, gradually revealing a treasure under the deep sea. Silver fish began to jump in the net, splashing white water, creating a vibrant, breathtaking scene. And here it was the moment everyone had been waiting for. The net burst open, and thousands of silver fish poured down onto the deck, covering the entire deck, splashing in the bright sunlight. Cheers rang out everywhere. It was the sound of joy, of the bursting out of the sea after hours of hard work. There was no room to put one's feet. There were so many fish that the workers had to sit in the middle of the lively fish, their hands working without rest. A great catch. The whole ship seemed to be lit up by the sparkling silver, and the spirit of excitement spread throughout the deck. Ahead was the deep blue sea, vast and full of mystery. The small ship gradually moved away from the mainland, quietly entering the vast waters where each wave seemed to beckon a new journey to begin. In the distance, the rocky outcrops jutted out like the last landmarks before the ship truly entered the vast ocean. No loud ship horns, no roaring engines, just the sound of waves and wind, leading people into a new challenge with the sea. Another fishing trip began, full of hope, but also full of uncertainties. But for those who were used to the saltiness of the sea, that is life. The last nets were being pulled from the water, heavy and bulging like a giant silver bag. A small ocean was gathered in the hands of these tenacious and determined people. Streams of fish poured out, pouring into the hole, creating a sea of fish right on the floor. Water flowed down from the nets, silvery in the evening light, a scene both heroic and poetic. All around, flocks of seagulls arrived without warning, swooping down to the sea and circling the ship. They were also used to this rhythm of life like familiar companions, sharing the spoils of the vast ocean with the fishermen. Behind every successful voyage, there is always a person quietly holding the helm. In this simple cockpit, the captain, whether young or old, still attentively watches the course of the vast sea and sky. A day of drifting at sea has come to an end. The hold is full of fish, the nets are pulled in, and the soul is calm with the rhythm of the waves. Although tired, everyone smiles because they know that they have just conquered themselves in the midst of the silver water. That is the sea profession, that is life, that is a pride that cannot be described in words.